Hi everybody, this is RXII from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look here at some of the small caps that were in play today. So first up here we're going to take a look at NSYS. Yes, that was a nice move today, closed up 86%. This is one of those low average daily volume stocks that just took off and had a huge day today. You can see here the very low average day volume down here in the volume bars. Today giant volume spike, ran all the way up to 620 in regular hours. A giant flagpole formed here. If the candles did work back into the bands, the first support level is going to be EMA4. That's currently down here at 450. Since it's breaking out on the daily chart, we're going to look here at the monthly chart to find the next resistance levels. Each candle on this chart represents 1 month of trading. You could see here it's breaking out above the 200-month moving average, and so that is signaling, that is a bullish move. Okay, so that'd be a key level to close above for the month. Keep in mind that this candle will not set until the last trading day of the month. So yeah, there's a lot of time for this candle to change. But the big resistance levels to break are going to be this 2013 and 2014 levels. It was trading higher in after hours trading. Once you get above that, you've got a resistance zone from back here between 2006 and 2009, and so it looks like this 620 to 650, and then this 850 would be a big level to break, the 850 to 950 zone, and then you have up here for the top is $12. So yeah, so this is a big move for NSYS. Just keep in mind, usually when you get a parabolic move like that, there will be a steep decline will be coming, will follow the parabolic spike at some point. So don't get caught holding the bag. Okay, let's look at EGLT here. Closed up 34%. This chart's heating up. It made a really nice close today above the middle Bollinger Band. That's what we were looking for, above 37 here. That's the dotted purple line. As you can see here, the middle Bollinger Band, which is also the 20-day simple moving average, has been the tough level to break. There was a close above it back here on June 12th, but that level failed to hold, and the downtrend continued. So if it dropped below 37 in that middle Bollinger Band, that would be a sell signal. To the upside, it needs to break that 50-day simple moving average at 42 to head higher. A close above would be bullish. You've got the closing price over here on June 12th to break at 51 cents. If it can get above that, the 100-day simple moving average at 55 would be the next level. If you look back here in May, it got above that 50-day simple moving average that failed to hold, and then the downtrend continued. So yeah, the difference is, if you look at May, check out the volume, and then look at the volume now. Much bigger volume behind the move today. Okay, so yeah, let's look at CRIS. This is another stock that made a nice move today. Closed up nearly 24%. The two things that caught my eye on both of them are you've got RSI now above 50 at 52, and then which signals the chart is heating up. And the same thing here for CRIS. It's at 54, almost 55. It's above 50 for the first time in a couple months, and so if it can stay above 50, that would be bullish. You can see usually when it gets above 50, it pulls right back. It's been failing to stay above that level, so you have to be on the lookout for that. Above 50 would be bullish. If it drops back below, that's going to be a red flag. Same thing for Fasto. Notice how last time it got above 80, it pulled right back below. If it can stay above 80, that would be bullish. A drop below 80 on Fasto would be a sell signal. You have a bull cross here, the green line crossing over the red line, plus DI over minus DIX, plus DI over minus DI, showing that the bulls are heating up. And so just like EGLT, CRIS closed above the middle Bollinger Band today at 176. That is the stop loss level. If there's a drop below, that would be a sell signal. If it can hold that level, that's going to be the signaling the start of a possible new uptrend. If you look back here, the last couple times that it got above the middle Bollinger Band, that level failed to hold, and the downtrend continued. It closed above the closing price here on the 16th of July. That was the key level to break at 190. It's going to be a red flag if it drops below 190. It needs to break above this green line. That's the 50-day simple moving average. You can see the last couple times it was tested back in May and June. That level was tested and even broke intraday here back in May, but it failed to close above, and it pulled back. So a close above the 50-day simple moving average would be a bullish change in trend. Notice volume is picking up. Okay, take a look at RXII. Closed up 21% today. It did form the black candle. Now this closed just above the middle Bollinger Band as well. It has a similar setup to the last two charts. The difference is it has the black candle. That's one of the differences, and that signals that it shows that the stock, even though it's up on the day, it closed below the open. The open's up here at the top of this black candle. Now it needs to stay above the middle Bollinger Band at 178. If 178 breaks, the downside risk is the gap between high of day yesterday and low of day today would fill. A drop down there to 159 would fill the gap. It needs to stay above that middle Bollinger Band to be bullish. The big thing is going to be this green line here. Once again, that 50-day simple moving average. You can see the upper wick. It broke above that level intraday, but it pulled back below. Above 207 is going to signal upside potential. Failed to break that 207 resistance level, and that's going to signal consolidation, not ready to go. You could get this kind of June action. It's really only going to be a good play if it can bust through that resistance level. Notice once again there was big volume behind the move, but that pullback that does show there's likely some dilution today as well. Okay, take a look at AKER here. Yeah, this closed up 14%, so this is a bounce play. It's back above oversold levels on RSI and Fasto, but below 30s oversold on RSI, and below 20 on Fasto is oversold. So it came down here. It formed that lower wick on today's candle. It had a bounce off at 25, and yeah, it got back above the EMA 4. Today, bullish one white soldier reversal pattern did form, and so keep an eye out for bullish reversal confirmation. It's going to need to break above EMA 8 here at 325. If it fails to break above that level, that's going to be a red flag. And then if it dropped back below 31, that would be a sell signal. A close below EMA 4 would signal downside risk. It has to stay above that level to be a good play. What you're looking for is to work its way back up to this middle Bollinger Band at 35. You could see back here in June and in July, it had been working on trying to break and even closed above, but it couldn't stay above that level. It's been a tough resistance level to break, and so once that finally turns into support, that's going to be your clue that it can get an uptrend going. What's going on right now is what we call a short cover rally. Okay, so this is just a bounce in a downtrend on the chart from an oversold condition. Yesterday's candle closed well below that lower Bollinger Band. When the candles come down and hit this lower Bollinger Band, many times there's a technical bounce, and so it was an oversold condition. It has the bounce here. It's a short cover rally. It won't be an actual uptrend where the bulls are in control until the bulls can take over that middle Bollinger Band, the 20-day simple moving average at 35. Okay, take a look at LTRX here. Closed up 19%. Yeah, this stock broke above the 50-day simple moving average today on a big volume spike. Look at the huge volume behind the move. Check out the average daily volume, very low average daily volume. Huge spike today. If it can stay above this 50-day simple moving average at 284, that would be bullish. You could see here it broke out of this channel. It was in it had this sideways channel going, and then so it broke out of the top of the channel, which was lined up with that 50-day simple moving average, and then now it's working its way back up to this. To me, it looks like it's heading up to this 345 level. That's the closing price on the first trading day in June. That's going to be the big level to break. If it can get above that level, that's going to signal that it wants to head higher. What you're looking for is a close above. It looks like 346. If it can close above that level and turn it into support, that'll signal that it could push higher. If it stalls out at this 345 level, that could signal a temporary top. Okay, take a look at LUNA. This is a breakout play. It closed up 16% today. Yeah, this one is, we'll see if it can. It just got above 70 on RSI, and so if it could pull a move like it did back here and had a sustained rally back in March into April, that's when it broke above RSI and stayed above 70. So a drop below 70 on RSI would be a sell signal. If it could stay above that level, it could push it higher to the next level. This is a nice move. It broke out above high close resistance from July. That was the closing price here on, what is that, like the 19th. Yeah, the 19th of July here. It closed above that level, so that signaled more upside potential. And then also the big thing was the close above this April high close resistance level. Being able to close above both of these key resistance levels does signal more upside potential. Now it's hitting this high here at $4 from back here in April. It's going to need to bust through 4 to keep pushing higher. What you want to see now is stay above 360. You don't want to see it drop back below into this previous channel. As long as EMA 4 at 362 values holding, the chart's super strong and it does signal more upside potential. If you look here in the monthly chart, you can see this is the complete history of the trading of the stock. It started trading back here in 2006. You can see, this is the beginning of the history of the trading. It hit a high up here, of 1050. It looks like at high close at just below 950, 925 or so. It dropped all the way down in 2009. You can see it formed this sideways kind of channel, a cup. What it looks like to me right now is it's filling this jar and it's working its way back up to these prior resistance levels. You want to see it stay above the 2010 a high close level. That level's been turning into support, and now it's pushing into these levels from back in 2006 and 2007. And so keep an eye on it working up into this 450 resistance zone. If the EMAs 4 and 8 support keep holding, the signal is to keep riding. You can see here it's been a really strong uptrend for several months now, and the signal's been to stick with the trade. If it dropped below EMA 8 there at 315, that would be a signal the chart's consolidating, similar to back here in 2017, and that's when you could get a drop down to the middle Bollinger Band or down to the 50-day simple moving average. But if those levels are holding, the longer term swing trade signal is to keep riding, to stick with the trade. Okay, so let's look at NIHD. This is another one of those strong uptrend stocks. It's been pushing really hard. It's up another 9% today. Those base hits do add up. It's not as sexy when you're getting a 5 to 10% gain on a daily basis. But if you look at this chart, when it started back here, and it's been it was at lower levels than this, but at 120s down here in March, and then now it hit 725 today. These base hits have really added up over the last few months, and so once again, this has been one of those stocks where it's paid to stick with the trade. There's ebb and flows when it peaks and then it pulls back. That gives you a chance to trade within the uptrend, especially the big dips here, these two big dips. What's going on now is it's pushing hard, riding EMA 4. So as long as that level's holding the pink line at 611, that signals more upside potential. When it closes below that, that's going to be a bearish change in trend. It's the uptrend's still intact, but that signals it could consolidate, and there could be reload levels lower. It looks like there could be almost a small unfilled gap right there. And notice the little upper wick on today's candle from 725. So it's pushing hard. You've got good volume. You just want to make sure that EMA 4 is holding. Once it breaks down, that's your signal. Okay, it could consolidate. This might be my chance to make a trade. While it's working its way up here on the weekly chart, this is the NIHD weekly chart. Once again, it's paid just to keep riding and sticking with the trade. It pulled back here and tested EMA 8, and that level held, and it kept pushing higher. Right now, it's busting through that upper Bollinger Band, so it's really pushing hard right now after a huge volume spike last month. This month just started with another big volume spike, so it's really working its way higher. Last month, it closed at this key resistance level here, and you can see all these candles are lined up. And so what you really want to see now is a monthly close above that level. This is the weekly chart. I'm sorry. So last week it hit this level, and so this week it's busting above this key resistance level. So now this week it's going to be all about closing above this key resistance level here at about 540, 550 or so. You can see all the candles hit that level and then it pulled back. So it's going to be really bullish if it closes above that level for the week. Now it's hitting this next cluster of candles from back here in 2015, and that's lined up with that $7 resistance zone. If it can bust through $7, it has a chance to run up here to this 950 zone, where you've got the candles just above that from the July or the August of 2015. So yeah, this is a really nice move. Once again, it's filling the jar. You can see they walked it down, it found support, and now they're working its way back up. And so yeah, as long as the chart is healthy and the weekly chart is holding up, it signals more upside potential. Okay, so here's one to keep an eye on is XBIO. This closed up 8% today. Yeah, we'd put out an alert in the chat yesterday. Keep an eye on it. It had come down, or I guess it was I guess it was yesterday that we put the alert out. It came down here and it hit this 50-day simple moving average, very similar to the NAKD chart. If you caught that the other day, notice how it has the very low volume as well. Many times you get a technical bounce off this level after a pullback, and so if it holds currently at 304, that's going to signal it could bounce. If it drops below that $3 level, that's going to signal downside risk. It needs to stay above $3 for it to be a good bounce play setup here. What you're looking for now is a bullish volume spike and a push through this EMA 8 and 13 resistance levels. A close above 339 would be really bullish, and that would set up a potential run up here to the middle Bollinger Band at 387. Once it gets above that middle Bollinger Band, similar to this candle back here on June 20th, that's when the good times can really get going. Right now, it's in a downtrend that started back here on the 17th of July, and it needs to get back above that middle Bollinger Band to get a new uptrend going. Right now, if it did break below that $3 level and got back down in the 290s, the downside risk is it could come down here and test this 235 to 250 support zone, because you've got the 100, 200, and 300 day simple moving averages all converged below. Okay, take a look at PTIE. This is a stock that it's been consolidating, and so today it had a technical development. I would keep an eye on it. It's thinly traded, closed up 12% today. Look for a break above 30 on RSI. You know, it hasn't been above 30 for multiple weeks here. Fasto just broke above 80 for the first time since back here in in May. So the chart's heating up. It's got some signals that are signaling you know, it could get something going here. What happened today is it closed above the dotted purple line and the orange line. Okay, those two levels have been big resistance. The last time there was a close above both of those levels, you know, you have to go way back here in June. And so before the chart turned bearish and this big downtrend started, there was a gap down. There's a gap between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle between the 26th and the 27th of June. And so what needs to happen now is it needs to hold this middle Bollinger Band, and now that it got above it, and it's going to need to stay above that EMA 13 as well. So, but it's really this 233 to 243 level. You know, it needs to hold that level and then bust through 260. You've got the closing price here on July 9th. That's the top of this current channel. If it could break above that level, then you have the bottom of the gap. The bottom of the gap is always a really tough level to break. If it hits that level and stalls out, that could signal a temporary top, similar to right here. You know, it's just a tough level to break. Once it gets above and closes above the bottom of the gap, that's when we can be talking about a potential gap fill. You know, it had the volume spike today after really low volume. It closed above resistance. It had the PSAR bull flip on Monday. You know, you had the recent MACD bull crosses. You know, everything's signaling that it could heat up. It just has to hold support and break resistance. Yeah, keep an eye on SYN. You know, this just caught my eye a couple times. It made a couple of my screeners. And so, yeah, it's trying to heat up. It's not a pretty chart. It's a very ugly downtrend. But for like the bounce players that like to play the penny stocks, it did close above EMAs 4, 8, and 13 today. It did not form a pretty candle. You know, it looks like a black hammer type candle here. You know, a lot of black candles. Just not. It's not a pretty chart, but it could get moving if it broke above this middle Bollinger Band at 206. So keep an eye on it. You know, you can't hold your breath, because look how many times it got above the middle Bollinger Band and nothing happened. And that's likely, history is likely to repeat with these type of stocks. That's why, you know, it's just most times it's not even worth your time trading these types of downtrends. But you know, there are trades to be made, and you know, people like these types of charts. It's just something to keep an eye on. If it does get above the green line, if you see it trading above 22 cents, that's where it could get interesting. You know, that might be best just to wait for that. And you know, because I mean, there's some percentage gains between there and here, but there's better stocks out there. But if it gets above 22 and breaks above that green line, that's where it could get moving. And so, yeah, keep an eye on that. And then take a look at AEZS here. This is another one to keep an eye on. Very low volume, only 46,000 shares. This is another one that we've been watching. It broke above 50 on RSI. Fasto's flirting with breaking above 80. It got above 50. You know, it's heating up. You can see here, look at minus DI is starting to cross over 80x there, the red line over the black line, and then you got the green line hooking up. And so the bulls are percolating here. You've got a PSAR bull flip. The green dots are below the candles. It's in this nasty downtrend. You can see this downward channel. Today it closed above the middle Bollinger Band, just above. The middle Bollinger Band's at 191 and it closed at 192, but that is a technical development. They let it close above. I mean, that has happened before back here and nothing happened. It still pulled back. But right now, if it can stay above 191, and then it has to get above the 200-day simple moving average at 195. If it can break that level, notice how that's the top of this, that's the descending resistance line, it's the top of this channel. A break above 195 will be bullish, and you can see a run up here to the 50-day simple moving average at 204. And so that's also lined up with the 400-day simple moving average, the black line there. 204 is the huge level. If it can get above 204, that's where it could really get moving. It's got super light volume right now, but if you look back here in May, it's had volume in the past. So volume can enter the stock if it gets moving. So keep an eye on it. Notice the MACD is set up for a bull cross here on the 12, 26, and 9, and then it did cross over on the 8, 13, and 5. Check out the last bull cross on MACD on the 12, 26, and 9. That happened right here on the candle, and look how that was the start of this multi-week run. Not saying a multi-week run is going to happen right now, but if that MACD line crosses over the signal line, that's another signal that a new uptrend could possibly begin. Okay, let's look at NMRD. Yeah, this is a super thinly traded stock. I mean, I probably shouldn't even have it in this video, but I'm just going to put it in here anyways for you penny stock traders. It's above 50 on RXII here, above 50 on Fasto. It closed above the 50-day simple moving average. We always like that. It has to stay above that. That is the stop loss level. If it breaks below, it will be a risk to hold. It's currently at 263. That's the green line. Then you want to see it break above this closing price from back here on the what is that, 19th of July. And so that 310 level is going to be a big level to break. If it can get above 310, then you've got the 100-day simple moving average at 331. It could really get moving if it gets above this 310 level. You can see where this has been a big resistance zone since it dropped below, and so a break above would be a clear signal that it wants to head higher. I mean, this is a super thinly traded stock, but you could see for this being a thinly traded stock, it's had more volume recently than it has had in a long time. Really not my cup of tea. I look at volume bars first, and volume is the one of the key ingredients for a good play. You want to have volume, but you want to be sure when you get volume spikes like this in EGLT and NSYS that you exit before the volume dries up. That's the name of the game. Okay, thanks for viewing this video. Please check us out at mychartcoach.com. The chat that we've got going, I'll post the link below the YouTube video. Okay, thank you.